This content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. The Better Traders is not a broker dealer. We are not an investment advisor. We have no access to non public information about publicly traded companies or cryptocurrencies. And this is not a place for the giving or receiving of financial advice, advice concerning investment decisions, or tax or legal advice. The value of investments and the income derived from them can go down as well as up. Investors may not get back the amount they invested, and past performance is not a guide to future performance.
Hey guys, it's me, Minute Papa, and you are watching my live stream. Let me know in the comments real quick that you can hear me. I understand there's just like a 30-40 second delay. Technology is amazing, but still there takes a little bit of time. But please do let me know in the chat. I'm watching it. So yeah, I am very excited about the market just because it's winding up to do something. Bitcoin has not been in such a tight range in quite a while. Thanks, Brad, for letting me know. Awesome. So it hasn't been in this tight of a range in quite a while, and it's creating some false hope for bulls, of which I am still not one. The last week's live stream, I said I was bearish for several reasons, and it turned out to be accurate. On Monday, I posted a video on why I still think Bitcoin is bearish, and it's funny because even though the price actually closed above that line for that day, the next day it closed well below it. So yeah, I'm still watching the charts, but I still think that we are mildly bearish. Things could change. There's actually a lot of really exciting news happening, but we have yet to see the market really get excited about that. I think that there are many bigger global issues at play that are pushing down the price of Bitcoin and other assets. So let's go ahead and jump on over to TradingView and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So yeah, no duh, Bitcoin did make a move up yesterday. If I open up my my fib lines, actually, because this is what I was looking at. So BTC stayed above even though it was below. Let's see, today is Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So this is the day that I made the video, and it closed below, and it failed to close above yesterday. Just barely. I don't call that a victory. A victory is closing up here. And of course, today we are starting off, we're only like, what, 2 hours into the market? So it's really early. It's not really even fair to say what's going to happen next. But I can tell you that the fact that we closed below this line, that's why I'm still bearish. Fib lines do not lie. They don't. That's why I love them. So given that, and if Bitcoin doesn't close above 39,300 today and successfully stay above, then to me, then we're going to be going lower. We're going to be testing here at 36 or 37, then we're going to go down to 33, and then we're going to go down to 30K, and then we're just going to keep going. So there's a lot of weakness in the market. If we just turn that off for a second and go to a faster time frame, and we're going to zip ahead. So yeah, it's really strange to see Bitcoin this choppy. It's been a while actually since we've seen it this choppy. And if I zoom out, the last time we saw it like this was more along the lines of February or so, where it was just doing all this garbage going back and forth in a super tight range of 20%. Ridiculous price action. So we are essentially still going sideways. Nothing has really changed. And before you get all excited that, oh, it looks like we're moving up higher, these are classic bull traps. That's why I wasn't really worried on the little move up yesterday. Even though I did have a leveraged long open by the TBO switch, I actually closed it in profit. Same thing over here. So it's all part of the game. The markets are going to move up and they're going to shoot down. I mean, this is just pure manipulation. So anytime right now, if you're feeling really excited because you're seeing some upward momentum happening, just be really cautious because we're not at the start of this. We don't see any of this building momentum right now. So even without volume or without the TBO, you can see it here. We've established a bottom. It's trying to move up higher. We go above our trend line. We break above. We keep going. We're not seeing any of that right now. So let's go ahead and bring in some, well, actually, let me turn this back on. We're going to go to the daily time frame, and we're going to do a little bit deeper analysis. So when we're looking at the TBO is very much still bearish. We had an open short symbol on the 15th of April that was confirmed on the 16th. So yes, that's true, but we've also been super bearish for quite a while. This cloud right here is letting us know that when it's pink like this, especially when it's moving down, and it's been moving down ever since the 4th of March or the 3rd of March. So when we see it moving down like this is bearish, of course. So this is our TBO slow line, our slow moving average. This is really giving us an idea of the sentiment. And when we see the price break above, it's bullish, but if it can't close above and stay above, then of course it's bearish. One nice thing is that the cloud is starting to get really tight. And the reason why I say that is because when it gets tight, that's when I start to pay attention, like back here. This is a totally different season, totally different time, especially September 2020. You could see though that it's green to begin with and it's moving up. Even though the price wasn't rocketing up, it's moving up. And of course the price shoots up to follow. So we're seeing basically the inverse of that right now, where it's getting tighter and we're below. And if you would flip this over and invert it, it's not looking strong still to me. We do have support here by the TBO, and this is at 36,250. Then our next line of support is really right about here, which is 29,482. And then it's down here, 19,527. And I'm looking at the numbers up here, by the way. This is the easy shortcut to figuring out what these support and resistance lines are. So the bottom line is 9,875. I don't think we're ever going to see that number again, but 20K I still think is possible. When we zoom out to the weekly time frame and we go to a chart with a lot more history like Bitstamp, we're going to see this similar pattern that I made a video about before and why I still think we are going down. So let me hide my drawings. So we got our two close longs, our two blue diamonds there, cross down and open short. That's a formula for a fall down. So look here, close, long, cross down, shoots down. So we got close, long, cross down, open, short. So we have yet to see Bitcoin make that big move down. And that's really what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a move for BTC to break where? Below the cloud. Because this cloud is a great trend indicator. We've seen this happen before back here too. Cross down, open short, and it goes below the cloud and then it moves above and then we're bullish again. So I'm waiting for that moment where we see, and we're going to get lots of stuff again once I do this, but I'm waiting for this to happen. Waiting for a move of the price to go below the cloud, and it's not going to take this long. Because when we think about the cryptocurrency market back in 2018, there was no countries were supporting it. Politicians hated it. There was a conspiracy against it to defame it and make it into this, like to criminalize Bitcoin. So yeah, it's no wonder why it was bearish for 133 days, more than 3 months. But if we look at the Corona crash, we can see that it was only below the cloud really for a month. So that tells me with all the adoption, and we'll talk about that in a second, that if we see a fall down, I mean, month tops, in my opinion. So when I'm talking about this bearish move down, I know it's a little bit like, no, but I'm still expecting it. If it doesn't happen, yay, everyone's happy, everybody wins. If it falls down, I'm prepared, I'm ready for that. But I'm telling you that if we see Bitcoin fall down to that 20K range, I think it's going to be real fast, just because of how many entities are interested in Bitcoin. Lots and lots of discussion in Europe about Bitcoin. The IMF is very interested in Bitcoin. El Salvador has it as legal tender. And if we pay attention to the news, the Central African Republic passed the bill to make Bitcoin legal tender. Now we have 2 countries that have officially recognized Bitcoin as legal tender for payments. This is what I've been saying. It's what I've been saying ever since El Salvador did it. All you need is one country with, and no disrespect to El Salvador or any El Salvadorians watching, but all you need is one country that recognizes the strength of Bitcoin, and they're humble enough to recognize the fragility and the instability of their own financial structure to recognize, oh, we should probably adopt that because we can print money with Bitcoin mining instead of printing our own currency and deflating it to zero, right? So I said, if not last week, I said this in the Better Traders Club live stream, that expect more countries to adopt Bitcoin, to adopt it as legal tender this year. Number 2, it's not going to be the last one. And what I said is exactly what we're seeing here. The Central African Republic is not a strong country, not a first world country, not even, well, maybe second world. I would say more second, third world, like in that it's not a strong country. It doesn't have a lot going for it. If we read this article a little bit, I think it's very revealing. Down here, a developing country in the Central African Republic has a population of approximately 5 million. Though it's rich in mineral deposits and other natural resources, it has faced economic and humanitarian challenges for decades. You're going to see this same sentence played over and over and over as more countries adopt Bitcoin as legal tender this year. Now, with bullish news like this, why am I bearish on BTC? This is amazing. This is a good question to ask. I'm going to pause that because there's more news to share. So this is amazing news. This is fantastic for BTC. Here's some other news that's fantastic for BTC. Australia is supposed to launch a Bitcoin spot ETF, but it got delayed by a prime broker. The reason why this is big news is because a spot ETF is not susceptible to drawdown and manipulation like a futures ETF is. The CBOE has a futures ETF, but the reality is that it's almost like a leveraged token where it loses its value. It's not pegged to the performance of BTC. It's not actually buying BTC. It's buying like a, I can't think of the word, a hybrid asset, not hybrid. It's almost like it's like processed. I can't think of the right word. It's okay. But the thing about this right here is that if there is a real spot exchange traded fund, that means that this company, CBOE, well, no, sorry, CBOE is the exchange, but the ETF, when it launches, the only way for this to happen, for it to be legit on spot, is because, Cosmos Asset Management, I see it right there. They're going to have to buy BTC, and they're going to have to buy a lot of it to accommodate the demand that there is for it. Another reason why a spot ETF for Bitcoin is super good news is because everybody in the world that doesn't actually want to dip their toes into crypto, to mess with their wallets, to mess with all this stuff, and they don't want to do any of that, but they want a little bit of exposure to Bitcoin, that's what an ETF is all about. So instead of them holding Bitcoin, they're holding like a bank note or a Bitcoin note for it in that ETF. So they're exposed to Bitcoin, but in a way that's safe. They're used to it, and they're not used to it, but it's with their fiat currency. They don't have to sacrifice the time and the energy to figure out how to get onto exchange, how to do all that stuff. It's a lot easier. And with the spot ETF, what'll happen is that companies within Australia will be able to offer, or rather include, this spot Bitcoin ETF in their pension funds, and other funds will look at this and like, oh, well, we want to get some exposure to Bitcoin in our ETF, which some ETFs are like blue chip stocks. Some of them are other, popular stocks or top stocks from other countries like China, or from Europe, things like that, or metals. So this is just another thing that they can offer to put into these ETF baskets. Again, great news, because that means that they're going to have to buy Bitcoin in order for this to happen. They can't just say, well, this is Bitcoin. No, you actually have to have it in your possession. So they're going to have to buy a lot, and there's going to be more demand for it. And it's just like El Salvador, all it takes is one to get the ball rolling. It's like dominoes. You just need to push one over to get all of them to get going. So again, second really good piece of news for Bitcoin this week. So why does the chart look like poo-poo, right? Why is the chart so bad? Well, it's because even though we have some amazing news happening right now, it's not enough to change the sentiment and the price action. You would think that some incredible news like this would be the thing to change the trajectory of our markets, to see some explosive volume coming in. But the reality is that we aren't seeing it. There's no amazing reaction to this. So even when El Salvador was buying the dip, we didn't really see Bitcoin move up because of that. Michael Saylor buying some more. The price doesn't react to that. What we're experiencing right now is adoption in the face of a soon-to-be economic global crisis, a global economic crisis. That's basically what we're seeing right now. We're going to see more countries adopt Bitcoin. We're going to see more exchanges offer a spot-based or spot-traded Bitcoin ETF. But it doesn't negate the fact that the world is very much fragile right now. And what I mean by that is this. So the DXY is the US dollar currency index. This is letting us know how strong or weak the dollar is. And for whatever reason, and I need to do more research on this, admittedly, but if we look at this and the performance of the US dollar index, for one, this is the weekly time frame, by the way, and the TBO can do a lot of stuff. It lets us know here, close short, meaning that we should see the DXY to move up, open long, and now we have 3 breakouts right here. Everything is moving up. This is telling me that the DXY is not going to slow down at all. I know this is happening here, but this is at the end of the trend. This is what we're looking at right now. This is the exact same thing that we're seeing right now. And after this, the DXY rose 20%, 21%. That would put the DXY at 124. Why is this a big deal? This is a big deal for a couple of reasons. One, let me go to the monthly time frame because it's a little bit cleaner and easier to see. The reason why this is a big deal is because if the dollar is strong like this and it's breaking out, it's going to trash other currencies. It's also going to make Bitcoin look weaker than it actually is. So just doing some simple TA and some simple drawing lines with some terrible colors. There we go. So it's broken out of that. It's broken out of this, broken out of that, yada, yada, yada. You can see it happening all over the place. But the truth is that we haven't seen the DXY go above this, go above 103 or basically 104 since 2000. What happened in 2000? This is our dot-com bubble. And then after that, crash. We're seeing the DXY shoot up. If we see it rise anywhere up here, anywhere above 105, you better believe that it's going to tank other currencies. And we are basically in a big bubble. Big bubble, big crash. Kind of big bubble, big crash. So we have yet to see this happen again. I'm watching this. So the reason why Bitcoin is unstable right now, the reason why it's not performing as amazingly as we all should expect it to, given the incredible news that we're seeing, is because of the havoc that the dollar is playing on all markets. Okay. So some really good news about Bitcoin dominance is that it's slowly starting to inch up. Bitcoin dominance moving up is a good thing. We need to see Bitcoin dominance really shoot up, because the higher percentage dominance, the more entities are holding Bitcoin and the less they're holding other assets. That's a good thing. And the only way that Bitcoin can really move higher, in my opinion, USDT dominance is still moving up, meaning that there's still fear in the markets. There are still people that are uneasy about Bitcoin's price action, even though dominance is rising. But this tells the story. This tells you everything you need to know about the sentiment around BTC, where more people were putting their accounts into stablecoins back here in November. So even going off of the open long, if you put all of your assets into stablecoins November 27th, you would probably be, I'm not looking at this percentage, but think about that time frame, November 27th. We go back here, November 27th, right there. Perfect. Oh, and it actually has an open short right here. So you would be in a really great position, because you would have avoided 28% drawdown on your BTC stack. And don't even get me started on other currencies as well. If we're looking at November 27th, so the 6th, 7th, I mean, you'd save 30%. You'd be able to buy 30% more Ethereum. So that's why it's important to keep track of this stuff. So let's go back to BTC. I've spent lots of time talking about my fib lines and all that stuff, but let's go to our current channel and talk about where we are now and why I'm not feeling so bullish. So I drew this channel, and I said last time too, we're spending so much time in this lower half that the more touches we have in this lower half, the weaker it becomes. So we tested it and it's broken below. So we are definitely not in our current channel. We are looking more something like this, where we are in this range. So this is a lot of funny lines. Let me just clean this up real quick, because I got a lot of extra ones we don't need to see. Oh, I'm pretty sure I can just select all of those, can't I? That's okay. All right, so here we are right now today. So we have our strong trend line. And what did I say in that video too? I said, we're going to probably come close to this green line, but we're not actually going to touch it. In my opinion, we're going to get close to it and move up higher before we actually bounce off of this trend line. So this trend line at 37.5, it's still valid. It's just waiting. And again, we're spending so much time on the downside instead of so much time up here. That's why I'm not bullish. So if we take away that line, and now we have a new overhead trend line. We have two, but I don't like drawing it like this. This is too recent. But there's a lot of resistance overhead, and it's just not strong. It's just not looking strong at all to me. So trend lines right now feeling like Bitcoin is still very much weak. It's not feeling strong yet. So what would change my mind for Bitcoin to be strong? Well, it would change my mind if it broke above this trend line to 42K. If it closed at 42K, that would be extremely bullish, given that it hasn't closed above it in quite a while. Back here is the last time. So 42K is that magic number for BTC. Something else that would make me feel really bullish about BTC is closing above 44K, because we have this overhead trend line. One thing you got to pay attention to at this trend line as well is that let me see if I can actually do this. Yes, haha, brilliant. So one other thing is that as time goes by, I am so tempted to sing Full House right now, but I will not. But it's not even the right words. Maybe it's not. No, it's not Full House. It's Family Matters. As time goes by, is the deeper love of the family. Something like that. Anyway. So one thing that's happening that's totally natural is that as time continues, as time moves forward, we are in this wedge. As we continue to move forward, that means that Bitcoin's going to come up to resistance, and it's going to come to support, and it's eventually going to get into this spot where maybe it does break above, but it's going to have resistance. It's going to have support. And then eventually we're going to have to see it make a decision of what it's going to do. So this kind of a wedge formation is neutral, in my opinion. Bearish neutral. So it's still not amazing. It's not the same as other really good bullish continuation patterns. It's mostly bearish, but we could see. But if we want to talk about the bullish outcome, then that would be closing above 42K, breaking above this overhead trend line, and then closing up to 48K, 50K, and then we shoot off like this. That would be the bullish scenario. Very unlikely, in my opinion, given everything that I've talked about so far. So I want to talk about Ethereum. I spent so much time talking about Bitcoin, like the last 25 minutes. So I don't want to rush this, but Ethereum is looking really weak as well. It's still in a much better place. It's below the cloud for the TBO. The TBO lines on the cloud is bearish. We have an open short that was opened 2 days ago. So it's not looking good. But again, it's much better in that it hasn't touched our trend. It hasn't done what Bitcoin has done. Yes, it's been in a downtrend. It's losing momentum. Sure, that's okay. It's kind of done this before, but it hasn't done a slow drag like this. These slow drags are so painful. But we haven't seen a retest of this price yet of 27K, which is my target right now. So if we see that break, I mean, Bitcoin breaks, this breaks, everyone breaks, and then we move lower. So what could change my mind for Ethereum right now? And notice here, 27.26 lines up really well. If we see a slow drag down, that would line up beautifully to this trend line. So again, that's why I think that's where we are. So for one thing that's good for Ethereum is that it's holding its main trend line. So let me turn this off. So right here. So we have this trend line that's now been established. It was originally drawn here, but it cracked cracked below. So now we have to just keep following it down to see where do we go. So here is our real target. And again, we have another wedge formation. You can see it right here. Let me get rid of that one. So lining this up together, lining this up together, and focusing on this, you can see why I'm not super bullish on Ethereum. There are lots of real good reasons why I'm not. So, okay, I'm going to stop there because I'm going a little crazy. But I do want to take a minute to talk about something really exciting. And I've totally messed up my order. I usually remind people that, oh, welcome. If you're watching, you can set a reminder for the upcoming live streams that I have on my channel. I've been posting lots of videos, basically one video a day, including these live streams. So you should check out the latest videos, and I have tons of videos, basically one a day. And it's fun, but it's a lot of work. So if you're liking this schedule, if you're liking all the stuff that I'm posting, please do leave a thumbs up on these videos. That helps to encourage me to keep going with this brutal release schedule, because it's a lot. The other fun thing is that we are having a catchphrase contest. So thebettertraders.com/contest. So all the information is here, but essentially we're looking for you to come up with some fun catchphrase like this, and you have the chance to win any of our courses. We have 6 of them right now. So you can win Mastering Passive Income, which is our most popular and most coveted course because you get lots of stuff in there, like the TBO switch, or an annual subscription to any of our trading tools or a club membership. So there's a ton of stuff. You have to follow us on Twitter, retweet, and submit your idea. So there are a ton of ideas to help you get started. We've had lots of submissions so far. This is a great chance for you to do something really fun and join and, be creative and submit some fun stuff like this. The other thing I want to share is that I've been busy. Fun and having fun and being busy is great. But the best part is that our Better Traders Club members are making some good profits here in our DCA Backtester, which is included in the Better Traders Club. It's a tool that allows you to backtest TradingView charts with 3 commas DCA bot settings. So using that, we've been seeing people make some good profits from charts like KNC. We've seen people, like I love this right here. My DCA bot decided to buy at the top, then it went almost 10% down, just add a manual safety order to bail it out, and it's still 4% profit, and boom, it actually closed it. And the reason why is because the video I posted recently, and the video he is talking about is this one over here, DCA, or not that one, I guess. Oh yes, this one, DCA or loss, where I'm walking around the park. That was fun to do. I haven't done a video like that. So anyway, that video is really helpful, and the tool that's included in that, hats off to Queen's Lambone for that. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in the club. This is just a little preview of what we got. So if you're interested in joining the club, I highly recommend going to thebettertraders.com, and there's a link down below in this video for more information about the Better Traders Club and all the tools, all the fun stuff you get from joining the club. So let me take a look at the chat so I can catch up to see. Awesome. Good. Yes, Saturnaut. So I saw your comment earlier. That's awesome. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people have a misconception about in regards to bot trading is that if Bitcoin is suffering like we're looking at, then there aren't any good bot trading pairs out there. It's not the case at all. KNC has been solid. Power, which is one that I shared here on the channel, you can look for the DCA Backtester announcement video. I think it's from like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but the Power bot I'm still running and it's generating some good profits. And he also said that Ape, yes, ApeCoin has been on a tear. Ape has been fantastic for bot trading. So the point is that there are always going to be some great charts to trade, especially with bots, but it's nice to have a tool like the DCA Backtester, because that will allow you to figure out where you should put your safety trades, how many you should use, what deal start condition you should use, where you should take profit, all that stuff. So that way you can see how did it perform and how could it perform moving forward. Tons of stuff. Awesome. Well, it's been great spending this time with you. So now I got to wrap things up because I got more content to film and to edit and to post and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening right now. I wish I could tell you everything, but you'll get the content as it's being dripped out, trust me. But when I say that there's really cool stuff coming, I'm not lying. It's just taking forever. But you know, it's worth the wait for really good stuff, right? So anyway, thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope that you guys all have a great rest of your week. Stay safe out there in the markets. Enjoy the change in seasons. Try to get outside, right? Sunshine, fresh air is really good for you. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.